This is really quite extraordinary. On the I think it's the 4th of January, Sunday, and it's 20 to 8 in the morning in Wales, and it's not light yet. The moon is shining brightly. Sometimes I wonder if we've moved a little bit more north in our position on a global aspect, because it seemed to get dark a little bit earlier this winter, and now it's darker in the morning. And I know we change our clocks accordingly, but I'm sure it's normally light by now. I think we do know from the fossils that our planet does move and change climate. Fossil evidence shows us that. I grew up near Much Wenlock, which used to be a coral reef. So we mustn't buy into the fear. Of global warming, climate change. The climate does change. The fossil evidence shows us that. But we must not pollute our environment or our bodies. Nor animals' bodies. God does give us everything freely, but it takes more time and it doesn't make a profit. We just need to work with what God has given us and what we know and what ancient teachings know. I'm going to follow up today with a poem I called it Christmas Eve Magic, because it was about capturing the excitement that the Santa culture has brought, but also knowing that that's not real. And then the origin of Santa being St. Nicholas and the giving of presents. Santa Claus, as we know him, having been invented by Coca-Cola. But the three gifts of the kings, the gold, frankincense and myrrh, are gifts of healing. And so I'm showing that in the poem. Perhaps I should call it Christmas Eve Magi, because and it's quite extraordinary how so many Christians are against natural healing and alternative therapies and And yet the golden halo comes from us attaining to peace within our crown chakra. And our chakras are just a reflection of the energy of love or fear within us. And so it's literally the frequency of where our endocrine system is at, where our hormones are. And love and life and energy and vitality come from our parasympathetic nervous system. The endorphins are naturally occurring endorphins, which come from living a good life in accord with love, with love's laws for love, for cultivating a beautiful world. It's our duty to make this world beautiful, and not to capitalise on every bit of anything. Those times are changing now. Anyway, God bless. Know the light is returning. We are at the dawning of a new age. Saul prophesied. It's in ancient teachings of every culture, actually, and also much of it has been hidden. Anyway, God bless. Know the light is returning. Anyway, I did just ask somebody walking past if they thought it was unusually dark for this time. It's nearly 10 to 8. And they did think it was. And it is. Whew. Anyway. It is time for the New Jerusalem to come to earth, the holy city, as spoken of by John. I'm just listening to a book of John that was removed from the Bible. It's a good thing about social media is we can access stuff that's been hidden. Anyway, return and presence of Christ. For the peace, he is the Prince of Peace. And yes, he does cause division in our families, which is hard, very hard to take. But that's in order to affirm to his moral and righteous laws for love to exist. And so the end is the beginning of the word endorphin. The end of the quest for heart smiles in love. Mimicked by opium, posing as opiates. Killing pain, knowing pleasure, addictive, seductive, seducing, but the lie. So that's about drugs. The end, ending enslavement to cortisols crying for an end. The end, the release of our naturally occurring endorphins. The dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the anandamide.